The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, folks. Glad you could join us today for our Thursday training call. We've got a special treat today on our training call, and you're going to get to hear from a gentleman that, and hopefully his wife also is going to come in and join in a little while. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see if we get lucky or not. But bottom line, I've got Mr. Robert Wallace on the phone with me today, and just to kind of give you an idea, I know a lot of you folks have met Robert and Michelle. Some of you may not have, but they were one of our top partners in our last group, went out and made multiple millions of dollars, understood the system, went on to do their own thing, and we've been fortunate enough to tag team again, get back together for a reset here, and we think we're going to do it, in my terms, we think we're going to do it a lot gooder this time around than we did last time. So, Robert, are you on, buddy?
I am, partner.
Okay, man, appreciate you, appreciate you. Let's just kind of play this one by ear, Robert, and we're just going to go down through, and I'll click some slides, and we'll just tag team back and forth and kind of really and truly play it by ear and kind of say what's on our heart today, okay?
Sounds perfect.
Okay. Folks, when we talk about mindset training, I know you've heard from me, but again, the reason I asked Robert if he would be on today is literally to share with us, again, some of his heart-to-heart mindset concepts, if you will. And when I think about mindset, I say it this way: the first step that we have to address is the 6 inches between our ears. Now, what I'm saying there is we have to really, really, really reach inside our minds and figure out where we're at as an individual, what's going on in our life, where we want to go. But that 6 inches is a scary, scary place for me to get into with people. But if I can't get there, I can't determine their why, I can't determine what's going on, I can't help people reach something that literally is, everywhere they turn, they're going to blame somebody else, okay? So what I mean is, literally check your ego, and when I say at the front door, let's just check it at this computer today, okay? And what I mean by that is, we're not here to hurt you in any way, okay? But we've got to get people to realize right now, at this point, you're a direct result of your effort in your life. It's time to quit blaming mama, race, creed, color, society, education, neighborhoods, lifestyle. You know, we can always look for excuses. But if we really and truly try to take our excuses and change them into reasons as to why we've got to do something, then it makes a major, major difference. Okay? So if you'll open your mind and open your heart, we're here to help you. Now, with me saying that, Robert, let's let you take off a little bit. You can pick any bullet point. You can make up your own bullet points. It doesn't matter to me. But explain
All right,
it.
Philip, it was, I can tell you like this, Philip, and you said it well, so I'll just kind of paraphrase. And I wish I could remember exactly who it was that said this at one point, but it really resonated. And they just said, you know what, I don't mean to hurt you, I don't mean any harm, but spare us your brilliance. If what you were doing before was working to the degree that you wanted it to, we wouldn't be having this conversation. So the fact that we're all on the call together, the fact that we've all linked arms together, is a testament to the fact that there's something out there that we are all wanting to achieve further and beyond anything that we've ever touched in our lives. So, it's one of those things that we have to be humble, we have to have humility, regardless of whether we've been the CEO or the last man hired. we've got to all, come, check our egos, as you said, at the door, line up behind those that are experts, if you will, in this field, and able to be able to get them to help us with, with achieving the success that we really want to. So, I think that really kind of sums up everything that's there. And you're right. We've got to conquer that 6 inches between our ears. In these days, we can send a message, and we're sending one today. We can send a message all the way around the world in less than a second. But sometimes it takes years for it to get that last quarter of an inch going through our skull. So, hopefully we will say some things today that will resonate with all of you. But it is about mindset, and it's all about really making up your mind and determining, or setting determination. In other words, you have to make up your mind, but, we can all make up our mind, but until we commit, Philip, you always said, the chicken's involved in breakfast, but that pig is committed. There's no going back for the hog. So
Right.
We have to be like that hog. We have to be willing to slaughter ourselves to some degree, leave and check our stuff at the past. Yes, it's kind of a double-edged sword as well. When we talk in terms of past success that we have all experienced together, because to me that's the past, and I know that we do it to establish credibility and make sure people know that we do really know what we're talking about. But to me, at the same time, I don't like looking backwards. I like looking forwards. And so, I want all of you guys to know that even though I've experienced a great deal of success in the past, and I've made a really substantial amount of money in working with Philip in the past, I want you guys to know we went on to do other things since then, but it was never as great as it was when we were with Philip. So we checked our egos at the door. We shuttered companies that we had started and that we were working and building to come and partner with Philip here at InVida and to partner with all of you to build something great. So we've humbled ourselves and we've checked our egos at the door, and we're ready for a new rodeo, if you will. And we've rolled up our sleeves, and we're getting out there and working it as hard as we can as well, because our heart is in it. We've committed, and we're like that hog. We've cut off our all paths of retreat, if you will, and we're all in.
Okay, and on that note, Robert, I know I've kind of told a little bit of your story, and I don't want to go back to birth, but I want to go back to birth of the Robert that I know, the Robert and Michelle that I know. And
okay.
I remember our first meeting, and I remember you showing up at the meeting because of Michelle, and I remember us having dinner, and then I remember you went out that Monday morning and did something like really crazy. But it all ties into your mindset. You saw something, it lit you up, you immediately made a decision and moved forward. But if you don't mind, just tell that story from like a 10,000-foot overview.
Okay. Well, when we first were really looking at this business, and really Michelle, I won't even say looking, Michelle had already contracted, was working with Ralph and with you. But it was the very beginning stages, and so I was still in banking at the time. And we were like a lot of folks. We were making just enough to tread water, but not enough to get on top. And when Michelle began to really buy into the system and get the system down inside of her and understand it, and really she had to kind of turn off the intellectual, if you will, and just trust and just jump in the water and just know that she was going to be able to float, because you told her we were going to be able to float. But when she did that, very quickly, I began to see the income change. And when I saw the amount of money that she was making for the amount of effort and time she was putting in, it was a no-brainer. Like you said, after, we kind of sat, we talked, had dinner together, broke bread over a nice big fat bone-in ribeye, and really kind of realized what was really at play and at stake I literally got up from the table, and as you said, that next week, you know, when I produced that weekend and you know, did over $19,000 worth of business on faith. Came back that Monday morning, and I called my boss, and we were supposed to have a sales meeting that day for the bank I was working with, Royal Bank of Scotland, and I just told him, I said, man, you know, hey, I won't be at the meeting. And he goes, are you okay? Are you sick? I said, no, I'm well. I'm physically well, but I'm sick of coming to those Monday morning meetings. I found something else that I'm going to dedicate myself to, that I can really get behind, that is going to take me and my family where we need to go. And so I resigned on the spot, turned in my stuff, and I never looked back. And from there, we began to build the team, as you know, finished that year up. I think there were 20 of us, including Michelle and I, at the end of the year. And within 6 more months, our organization had swelled to over 250 people by recruiting, by getting after it, and just by following what you guys said to do, which really was just share our heart with everybody we come in contact with, because we were passionate. We definitely believed in the system. The mindset clicked. And when the mind and the heart get together on the same sheet of music, man, it's an unstoppable force. And so as our organization grew, we rolled up our sleeves, really hit the training hard, and before we knew it, you know, you had called me up and said, you said, hey, Wild Man. I was like, what's going on? And you said, do you realize how much money you guys have made in the last 6 months? And I said, no, I really don't. You know, I know it's you know, pretty significant, because I know there's a ton of money in my bank account, but I haven't paid attention to it. I've kept my head down like you told me. I've continued to recruit and train and produce just like you told me to do. And you know, working with Ralph, we're blowing and going. And you said, man, you've made over $750,000 in the last 6 months, and I was blown away. I mean, it was a really interesting, you know, humbling conversation, because, you know, it's amazing what happens when, you know, you get your head right, when you get the bad stuff or the wrong messages out of your head, you get the right messages in your head.
Absolutely, buddy. Thank you for that. And that leads us to literally where we're at now, which is the second step, and that's the 18 inches to your heart. And that's exactly, folks, if you can't hear Robert saying this, he said it before we got to the second slide. But his mindset was right, her mindset was right, they were together as a team, and they figured out how to get the business inside of them instead of them being inside of the business. They had a story to tell. They didn't look left, they didn't look right, they didn't look up, they looked straight ahead forward. And he's 125% correct. I had to call him and say, dude, you know how much money you made? And the answer was, no, you told me not to look left, you told me not to look right. One of the most coachable couples I've ever met in my life. And they just went out, put the head down, didn't look up, didn't look left, didn't look right, went for it. Now, so many people have a hard time with it. This is easy stuff, Robert, to say. It's easy to put it on a piece of paper, and it comes out of our mouth and just flows very, very easy. But it's the hardest thing in the world to get people to do. People have been lied to, cheated on, stepped on, beat down in their whole life, and they're so afraid to just open their mind and open their heart and trust one more time, because they don't want to get it stepped on. And I don't know how to physically, mentally, verbally get it across to people that, just like back in the day, Robert, when we were building it, we, InVida, is a direct result of everybody's efforts on this phone. So we're no way, no shape, no form, no fashion going to do anything to hurt you, because obviously it hurts the entire company. So it's, you know, we're here because we've learned a lot of things through the years. And yes, we're here to come back and share our knowledge with you folks, but at the same time, we're not holier than thou. We're going to get paid too. So based on our combined efforts, everyone is successful. So it would be no reason for us to mislead people, upset people, get people on the wrong foot, it's a short-lived career. And this is a long-term deal. Robert could attest to this, but the first one, or the last one that we built together, was built with the intention of leaving a legacy behind, and I ended up partnered with the wrong guy. And that's as far as I'm going to go on that. I don't talk about people. I leave that stuff alone. I think everything will come out and everybody gets what they earned, okay? So I'm okay with that. Vengeance is not mine, okay? I understand that one. And, if you don't know where that one comes from, ask Bobby White, okay? Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, all right? So that's a little passage there for you, all right? So I give up on that stuff a long time ago. I have no hard feelings, no nothing. But this fell apart from the inside out, and it was very disheartening. It was very heartbreaking for me. So we've come back, and again, we're in position now with our value prop, with everything we put together, to really and truly build something that's going to go on forever. And that's what we've set out to do. Let me say it that way, okay? But for you to figure out basically what's going on and to get it through and get the business inside of you, it's understanding what we do. So here's the mindset for me. When you hear me talk about my dad, my mom, the house being sold, my dad, I had to bury him. Later I had to bury a brother, then I had to bury a sister. All of that stuff's true. And I know without a shadow of a doubt that $500 a month prevents 50% of the foreclosures in the entire United States. Now, folks, to me, when I get that, that's our business. That's what's inside of me. That's what burns me and gets me up early and keeps me up late. Because I can't walk by people. Now, I have people say, man, I got in this to sell. God bless you. Go sell. I'm okay with that. I'm not trying to change anybody's mindset. All right? But I know this. If 50% of the people that are homeless today would not have been homeless if we could have showed them how to make $500 a month, folks, that's one sale a month. One sale a month in the average family's home would have kept them in the home. 50% of them that's living under a bridge today, or living with their mother-in-law, or living with their children, or wherever they've had to go. So that's a major problem in the United States, period, in discussion. We have a solution for that problem. That needs to be in our heart.
Philip, hey, Philip, I don't want to cut you out there, but, Michelle and I are living proof of that. When we first joined into the business, and the thing that really got us really going is, we had a situation where we were going to be facing a foreclosure, and I won't bore everybody with the gory details of it, but at the time, I had a decision to make when Michelle joined the business. She was telling me about the convention that's coming up, and we talk a little bit about that because we have a convention coming up in July, and people need to decide just how committed they are. Now, I'm not suggesting that they do what I did, but they do need to make some sacrifices if they haven't already to be there. But we were facing a foreclosure. There was a convention going on, and it wasn't in Dallas, Texas, where we live. It was in North Carolina, and it was going to take pretty much $1,500 for the two of us to fly, stay at the hotel, register for the convention, be a part of it, for Michelle to get trained. And, I could have made the decision just to send her, but I'm watching all these different things go on. I said, you know what, no, I'm going to go with you as well. I really want to get down deep in this and see what this thing is all about before we get too deep in it. And so I made the decision. I took the money that was going to, that needed to go towards the mortgage because it wasn't enough to get us out of the situation we were in. They wouldn't have accepted just what I had. And so I invested it in that convention. And it was because of the things that you said and Ralph said and people that we talked with at that convention that got that belief level from skin deep down to marrow, bone marrow deep for us. And that's what really launched us into the stratosphere, if you will, and got us really, really, to the point where we're like, look, this has got some legs, I think. And Michelle really started doubling down. But, we were a product of that, needing that additional $500 per month to prevent a foreclosure. It was about $525 extra that we were coming up short every month, working full time, doing the things that we need to do with all the changes that happen in life. That, we ended up in that situation. So, you know, your facts are dead on in terms of what you're sharing, in terms of, you know, the amount of money, just the whole thing.
Now, and Robert, let me, this isn't an embarrassing moment, but this is a aha moment for most people on this phone, okay? Because when I met you, if I'm understanding right, you were the president of a bank.
I was actually the executive vice president. So
okay, executive vice president.
But, you know,
okay.
I wasn't far from it. I wasn't far from it.
Executive vice president of not a small bank, but a good-sized bank in Dallas, Texas.
It was one of the top 3 banks nationally.
Okay, and your wife was also working, if I'm not correct, if I'm mistaken.
Yes, she was. She was a principal, if you will, you know, for a broker dealer, folks that do all the retirement planning and funding, and that was really kind of one of the things that happened. We had gotten used to a decent income, and with the market starting to turn down, a lot of her income was tied to obviously investment performance, which, you know, there's a lot of people out there like that. So when the market started turning south, so did our income.
There you go. Okay, so you found yourself from pretty much hero to zero pretty quick overnight just because the market changed. Now,
Absolutely.
We didn't rehearse this, but folks, you have people on your chicken list that work for banks, that work as principals in companies, that work for this, that live in gated communities, and in your mind and in your heart, you think they're okay and they're better off than you are, and you're scared to go see them. Trust me, they have the same motto everybody else has. I owe, off to work I go. Okay? They just owe more than you do. They have nicer cars. They have bigger homes, which equals more debt, which equals larger payments, which equals they run out of money quicker than you do before the end of the month. And they're desperately needing help. So if it's truly our mindset and it's in our heart and we get the business in us and we owe it to them, we're not going to walk by people and not share it, okay? Now this one hits home base with me, and then again I'll let Robert talk a little bit about it, but the folks that we're talking about here, even if they're not in the gated community, all right, if it's your brother, if it's a family member, or if it's whatever, but if somebody that you know that you're close to, and I don't say they die tomorrow, they died yesterday, are their families okay? Okay, now you or your friend, so let's put it in perspective. God forbid anybody on this phone, but you died yesterday. What does the family look like that you're leaving behind? Are you a single parent? Do you have children? Are they renting a home? Do you have a home paid for? Do they have a place? Are you covered with your insurance? All of these questions need to be answered, because in order for you to achieve something, you got to believe something. So you can't achieve without believing. And if you believe with everything in your heart, like me, you know, I tell people all the time, I'm okay. I'm worth a lot of money, but I'm worth more dead than I am alive. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm covered. My family has nothing to worry about. There's insurance on top of insurance on top of insurance. There's investments on top of investments on top. They're okay. All right. But the question is, are you okay? Is your family okay? See, this is what we mean by getting the business. Once you're in the business, figure out a way to get the business inside of you. I go to sleep thinking about this stuff. I get up thinking about this stuff. I'm constantly on the phone from 5 o'clock in the morning to whatever time I can get somebody to talk to me at midnight, wherever, you know, midnight in California is 9 o'clock. So I'm on the phone with people constantly because this is a burning desire inside of me that I know that, again, 60% of the population is underinsured or has no insurance. So if there's a reason that we do what we do. Okay? And we very much know that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So when I say that to folks, here's what I want you to understand, and I think it's my next point. People can smell a phony a mile away, and if it's not the next one, I'll back up. Okay, it's not about you or your money. So let's lay all of that out there, and then I want Robert to address this in his own way. But people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. The way you care for people in your mindset, we're training on mindset, folks. This is about sales. It's about recruiting. It's about prospecting. It's about your way of life. It's about contacting people. It's about every second of every day of your life. This is what it comes down to, okay? You've got to open your mind and open your heart, just like we're talking about right here. And when you ask people questions, you've got to wait long enough to get the answer to respond to the answer. I've heard so many people just, how about this? How about this? Do you do this? Do you do this? Do you do it? You could care less about the answer. Well, if you're coming at me rapid fire, get out of my face. You're just asking questions to get down to what you want, and you're not even paying attention to the answers. So you got to slow your roll. You've got to understand that people are watching you, and they're looking in your eyes, folks. They can smell a phony a mile away. What do I mean by a phony? Somebody that doesn't believe in what they're doing. Why do we work so hard to get your house in order? Is it so we can make a sale? No. Is it so we can make a paycheck? No. It's to get your belief level through the roof. That's why we work so hard, because when you sit down with people, you got to be able to say, I know exactly how you feel. I felt the same way, but let me tell you what I found out. Here's what I found out. My family could be okay for a couple $100 a month. Your family can too. That's why I'm here. So, folks, if everything you look at when you talk to people is always coming back to you, and this is a hard one, guys. This is a hard one, because we're built and we're tuned in to one radio station, WHI-FM. What's in it for me? So it's always about us. If you look at a lead and you say, boy, it cost me $30, I better go make money on it. If you look at a lead and say, I figured this up, I could make $2,000. If you look at a lead and say, you know what, if I don't close this one, I'm out of business. The people will look in your eyes and see desperation. They will feel it. They will smell it, and you won't even know what hit you. You will be run over like a truck. But if you turn that thing around on everything we're talking about here and get it inside your head and get it inside your heart and understand that when you look at that lead, that's a family. That if one of them dies tomorrow, what happens to them? If they don't get an extra $500, they're out of the house. They're homeless. If they don't get help from you, who else is knocking on their door? You know, I had Denny Faircloth, Robert. I was down there doing a boot camp this week, and a guy that was a buddy of his that he had not contacted, and he contacted the guy, and he talked to him about what he was doing now, and the guy told him, he said, you know what? He said, Denny, I'm very successful. I make $3 to $4 million a year. I have this, gated community, all this stuff that everybody wants, okay? And he said, I don't know, 40, 42, 45 years old. And he said, can I say something to you? And he said, sure. He said, you're the only person in my 45 years that's ever called me and asked me if I'm okay. Nobody's ever called me. Nobody. Can you believe that? Right? Nobody. He said, I got friends and family members that sell insurance. They've never put a call. They're scared to call them because, you know what?
Yep.
They think they're better off than they are. Well, that's a misconception in your mind. That's the worst mindset you can have, that your pastor or your doctor or I don't care if he's examining my eyes, working on my teeth. I'm going to ask him if he's okay and who he's got his insurance through. And if he's got the old kind, he needs to talk to me. Very simple. So, Robert, take off on that one, buddy.
You know, Philip, it's one of those things that when you look at the difference between a salesman and what I like to call a closer or someone who really is a problem solver, the difference is salesmen do all the talking because they're trying to convince somebody that they need whatever it is that that person is offering. A problem solver or a closer does a lot less talking. They ask open-ended questions because they're truly interested in doing what's right for the client. And you know, the folks that I know that make the majority of the money in any industry, bar none, are people that ask questions. And, you know, I always joke around, but it's true to some degree. I always say, you know, when you ask questions, you let somebody else answer, because if you ask the questions and you answer the questions, you're having you're having a conversation with yourself, which to me seems kind of like schizophrenia. So, you know, when you ask a question, there's that uncomfortable silence that many of us have to overcome. But when you ask that question, you have to be prepared for that silence, because that person might be, like you said, maybe the first time that question has ever been asked of that person. And to your point, you know, my State Farm agent bought a policy from me because I asked him, I said, man, I got a crazy question for you. You sell a lot of insurance. That's what you do for a living, just like I do. He goes, yeah. I said, who do you have your life insurance with? And he started laughing. He goes, what? I said, who do you have your personal life insurance with? And he said, you know what, man? He said, to be honest with you, he said, I don't even have life insurance because I have type 2 diabetes and I have high blood pressure, and my rates through State Farm are outrageous. And so I showed him what we could do even without going through a medical exam. He started laughing, and I said, what? He said, man, write me a policy right now. You know, so you just never know who is or who's without what you're offering if you don't open your mouth and offer. But again, you can't say, oh, I know they don't need this, because you don't know. We had a friend of ours, literally, this just happened night before last, and thank goodness we'd already covered both she and her sister. But we had a friend that went out to work all day at a meeting day before yesterday on Tuesday, talked to her sister during the day, went and finished up some stuff. On her way home, got home, and her nephew came running outside. He had just arrived at home and said that his mom was laying on the floor in her room. She had passed away. This lady's in her mid-40s. We don't even know what happened. And I mean, I got a frantic phone call. She was absolutely hysterical. She lives in Greenville, South Carolina. And I mean, I could almost, I thought something had literally happened to her, like she was in a severe car accident or something. And, you know, after about 3 minutes of hearing her hysterically sobbing, she said, I think Sherry's dead. She's on the floor in her room. She's not moving. And she said, I'm waiting on 911. That's all I could understand. But, you know, in all of that, I was concerned for her. I was concerned for her sister, but I wasn't concerned about what was going to happen to them financially, because I know they have coverage. And sure enough, unfortunately, her sister did pass away. We don't know what it was exactly. You know, they have to do the autopsy. The coroner picked up the body that same night, and you know, Tracy went to stay with a friend. But, you know, at least, you know, as I'm sitting there worrying about Tracy, I didn't have in the back of my mind worrying about what they're going to do financially. I literally had the peace of mind to just focus on Tracy and not have to worry about her financially, because it's just her. They buried her mother a few years ago. She's not married. She doesn't have children on her own. She and her sister lived together so that they could, you know, so that they could make ends meet and do the things that they needed to do. So, you know, it's one of those things, again, Philip, where we have to open our mouths. We can't be a secret agent. We've got to be a life insurance agent. We've got to be an InVida life insurance agent, a partner that truly embodies caring about other people. You know, it goes back to what you used to, you know, we used to call them close ratios. And, you know, in the sales business, you call it a close ratio. You have a certain amount of appointments and a certain amount of sales, and that's your ratio, you know, when you extrapolate it out. But you changed that term years ago and said, no, I don't want to call it a close ratio, because this isn't about sales. This is about lives. And so we called it a care ratio. We called it a life ratio. We called, you know, and so that way it started to take the focus off of just making money for a lot of people to really understanding that these are lives. These are individual lives. These are mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters and people that life, you know, could get significantly worse if we don't come into their lives and do what it is that we've gotten a license and contracted with our company to do. We have to care. I mean, one of the things, you know, and each of us does different things. One of the things that I do, you know, when I'm in the field, before I would ever go see a client and before I would ever ring their doorbell, you know, Michelle and I, we pray over all of my appointments. And again, I'm not going to get preach here or whatever. I don't know everybody's belief, but I'm telling you what I did to help me put this more in perspective. And then before I ring a doorbell, I would always say a prayer, a blessing over that family. And I would always say, Lord, not my needs, but their needs. Because I know if I go in and I take care of that needs, my needs will be met. I don't have to worry about that for me. But if I go in with the opposite around, more times than not, I'm going to leave. If I go in thinking about I need to make 3 sales, I need to make $3,000, chances are I'm going to have a very long dry spell because my head and my heart are not in the right place.
Absolutely. They're so far off that they don't even connect.
Mm-hmm.
That's absolutely right. Now, you know what, Robert, you just explained our mission, okay? And I'm not even going to read this. I'm just going to put it up here because exactly what you said without knowing this was coming is what we do. So it doesn't even need to be repeated. You know what I'm saying? That's how much in sync we are. We're teaching people how to live the lifestyle they deserve. You just described that with Tracy. And I don't know Tracy, bless her heart, but that's the feeling, and I could give as many examples. We could both start giving examples and be here all day, but of families that just hug you, hold on to you, pray with you when it's done, that, you know, you can't bring that loved one back, but you made my life so much more livable by doing what you did. It would have just been topsy-turvy without you, okay? So that's already been said. I mean, I'm just going to skip the slide, man. You just nailed it, okay?
Yeah. You know, Philip, it's funny because one of the things I always leave my clients with when I meet with them is I let them know as I'm walking out the door and we've taken care of things. I say, you know, listen, there's one thing I want you to remember. You know, what we did tonight, if a bad situation occurs, what we did tonight isn't going to make a bad situation better, but it is going to make sure a bad situation doesn't get worse. I said, because if what we've done tonight has to work, that means somebody is not in the picture anymore, and that's not a good thing. You know, we all know it's going to happen, but at least you won't have to worry about losing a family member and then losing houses, losing cars, losing friends and neighbors, and losing your dignity and your self-worth. At least you'll be able to move forward and not have to worry about money.
That's right. Absolutely. And switching gears just a little bit, but not really, we're still staying on mindset. Experts tell us that the #1 most important factor in the success of a company is timing. In other words, the T in timing is far more important than the T in talent. Everything that Robert is saying to you today, everything that I'm saying to you today has become just inside of us. It's just become our life, okay, over the last 30 years, 20 years, pick a number, okay? But what we do understand is timing, and that's why we've come back and kind of launched this business, is because of the timing. Now, what do I mean by that? We say this slide, Robert, every week in our meetings, but we don't slow down to really understand what it means. We selected the insurance industry for a reason. See, folks, when you're out there talking to people, sometimes maybe you're embarrassed to say you're in the insurance business. That's one of the proudest statements I can make. Do you realize, without a shadow of a doubt, that it's one of the largest industries in our country? $6.1 trillion in assets. So if I'm that person that's Robert and Michelle that's about to go through foreclosure, and I'm in banking, and I'm in investments, and I thought I'm in the right business, and the right businesses, because of one turn in the economy, has me almost out of business, I made a bad decision. So if I look at the insurance industry and I say, all right, if I'm going to make a career change, what does it look like? And if I look at somebody selling water bottles, I'm not interested. If I look at somebody selling vacuum cleaners, no offense, I'm not interested. But if I look at an industry that's a $6.1 trillion industry, this is just life alone, that's bailed out banks, savings and loans, and credit unions over the last 100 years. They've bailed out the government time and time again. They're bringing in $589 billion in premiums a year. They're not going anywhere. It's a solid business. I don't see the government or the states coming up with any regulations that's going to try to shut us down, because we're helping people when it comes to the end. And they know if somebody doesn't do what we do, these families become a product of the state or a product of the government, and they have to be taken care of. So they're encouraging us to go forward. They're not discouraging us. They're not trying to create traps, if you will, Robert, to catch us or to stop us or to slow us down. So it's all green lights every which way. Now, the growing population, I'm going to skip the one in the middle. People are having babies every day. People are being born. People are growing up. They're getting married. They're starting families. So the population is growing. Now, we got a decrease in agents. So with the agents going out and the growth going up, that timing is perfect. Now look back in the middle. 60,000 agents in the 2 years, we've lost them. They're gone. Okay? Why? Career changes. Now, the industry put some of that on themselves. The industry said we can do it over the internet. They got fooled. We told them for years. Insurance is not sold, it's bought. Robert just said that earlier. I don't know if you caught it, but that was a nugget. Okay? It's not sold, it's bought. They buy you. You can't buy somebody over the internet. It doesn't work. Now, 1-800-GENERAL, 1-800, people buy car insurance, that's okay. They'll change that like they change socks. But when you start talking to them about their finances, when somebody dies, when they retire, that kind of stuff, they want kneecap, kneecap, eyeball to eyeball, kitchen table. That's where the business is done. That's where the belief level is built. So we've lost them due to the insurance industry saying, we'll get rid of the middleman, we'll do it over the phone, we'll pay cheaper, we want to pay commissions. Well, boy, did they blow that one up. And some of the companies blew it up so bad they went out of business. Okay? Now, also retirement and death. The average agent today is 61 years of age, Robert. 61. I'll be 60 in July next month. 60. It's hard to believe. I know I look 30. I get it, folks. But I'll be 60. Okay, that was a joke. All right? But bottom line, they're dying, retiring, quitting, changing careers, moving on. And 60% of the population has resulted with no insurance or underinsured. Folks, when you walk into church Sunday, Saturday, whenever you go, Monday, doesn't matter, 60 people out of 100 need you. When you go to Walmart, Target, wherever you go, movies, I don't care, go to work, look around you. 6 out of 10, 60 out of 100, 600 out of 1,000, pick a number, they're desperate, they're heading for destitute, they need you. They need you worse than you need them. And all you got to do is open your mouth. But it's got to be in your heart. It's got to be in your mind. All of that's got to be clear or it doesn't work. So, Robert, if you got anything, jump in. If not, I'll move on.
You know, I think you said it best, Philip. I don't think there's a lot more that I can add to that. You know, it's a staggering number when you think about every 6 out of every 10 people that you come in contact with is either underinsured or is not insured at all as far as their life is concerned. You know, when you think about it, you know, when we start talking to, you know, just our friends, our family, just our circle, you know, I guess for me, I don't know what you would ask them. I know for me, I think a question that I would ask everybody and probably need to ask even more people because I haven't asked it in a little while is, you know, Philip, what, you know, I'm working on some things, planning for the future for me and my family. Got a question for you because I really respect you. You know, one of the most successful people I know. And if this is too personal, just let me know. I mean, I respect that. But what have you done, or what's firmly in place that you've done to prepare for your death, so your family doesn't have to deal with it? I mean, I'm trying to plan my stuff out, and I'm looking for a little direction, and then I'm going to shut my mouth. And
you'll figure out in 30 seconds or less if they've done anything or if they hadn't.
That's right. That's right.
They'll tell on themselves.
There you go. And that conversation will naturally change, and you'll get a door open. But you're right. They'll tell on themselves real quick.
Yep, absolutely. Because you know what they need to do, and you just, I wouldn't call it set a trap, but for better words, lack of better words, you set a trap. And they're going to fall into it, or they're going to jump over it. And you hope they jump over it for their sake. But if they fall into it, you got to help them. You got to get them out.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, folks, we've talked this one, and we're going to keep talking it. because it all ties into mindset. These 6 steps are our Bible, and they're our Bible for a reason. And it's very simple. I went out and did a little research on some other companies. Other companies have anywhere from 5 to 8 steps that they get people to do when they sign up. And our 6 steps nail it. And their 6 steps are close to our 6 steps, but they've got some different, and we're not going to argue over the differences. But what I want you to know is the reason, if you're building a business, let me say it this way, and then I'll get Robert to talk some on this one. If you're building a business, folks, you're going to have to understand that 95 to 97% of your time is going to be spent with 3 to 5% of your people. That's your leadership. Doesn't mean the rest of them aren't good people, but that other 3 to 5% of your time is spent with the 95 to 97% of the group, the people in a group. That's just the way you have to build businesses, okay? You're going to build your front lines, you're going to get them in place, you spend time with them, teach them how to build their front lines, and so on and so forth. So in saying that, this is what has to be taught downline through our people, and if not, there's a lot of people out here that's going to sell a lot of hope that's not going to come true. The fact is, if I've got a brand new person, I'm going to pretend Robert's my brand new recruit, and I say, Robert, before you sign up and go in the back and get into the thing, it's free. People will go jump in anything for free, okay? But before you do that, I'm going to cover these 6 steps with you. So what I want you to do is go to the back and sign up. That's the first step. You say, okay, I'll do that now. No, hold on, because then I'm going to get your house in order. But if just hold tight a minute, Robert, I'm going to come back to that one, okay? I want you to sign up in the back. Once you get in, you'll see a study course that you can sign up for, $69. Now, I don't care if you got one for $29, folks. I don't care where it's at, who you put them in. Doesn't matter to me. Just get them in a course, okay? But I want you to do that, and then I want you to commit to set your test date with the state in 14 days or less. Now, I know if it's California, it's going to be 30 days. I get it, okay? But this is our example, all right? Now, then I'm going to get you fingerprinted in the states you got to get fingerprinted in. Because, folks, here's what happens. People get in, they don't sign up, they get the free part out of the way, they procrastinate, then 2 weeks later they sign up for a study course, and then they forget to sign up for the state test. They take the study course. 30 days later, you're talking to them, and they're still procrastinating. And when are you most excited about anything that you buy? You go out and buy a brand new Porsche today, you're going to ride around and pull up in everybody's driveway you know and show it to them. Trust me, 6 months from now, it's a car. 6 months from now, it's a car. Okay, it don't matter. You know, everybody's like, comes Robert, he's in his Porsche. Big deal. We seen that 6 months ago. That one was red. Why ain't you got a yellow one by now? You know, the newness wears off. So the newness is going to wear off. You've sold them a dream that they can go out and change their life, make an extra 500, make an extra 1,000, and you didn't follow through with the steps to make it happen. That's on you. That's not on them. They don't know. It's like a kid going to school first day in kindergarten. Give them a pair of scissors. What do? They cut their finger off. You don't do that. You teach them exactly what to do. You give them crayons with blunt ends on them. You don't, and you watch them to make sure they don't poke their eyes out with it. I mean, you got to bring them up and raise them. So you got to get this brand new child right here to follow the steps to success, or you're a part of their failure. Because the day you hire that person, you give up your right to remain average and ordinary. It's now about them, not about you. You can't be selfish and say, read this and go do it. I ain't got time. I'm going to go get somebody else. That's selfish on your part. So get them to do this, get them to sign up, get them fingerprinted, because you know what happens? Now they'll get the test date set and go in and people say, you fingerprinted yet? No. Well, then it takes another 3 weeks. You're 6 months into this deal, folks. They ain't made a penny. What do you think they're going to do? Quit? That's exactly what they're going to do. People get excited about paychecks and promotions. Am I in a hurry for you to go get a license? No. I'm in a hurry for you to go get a license for you. You can't make any money till you get these things done. I've just promised you an opportunity that works 100% of the time if you follow the 6 steps. But if you don't, it doesn't work 1% of the time. So now let's determine your why. You say, well, that's personal. Well, if I can't get personal with you, I can't help you. You got to tell me where you're at. You think I didn't know Robert was in foreclosure? He shared that with me the first night over that ribeye. You knew it. I asked questions. I did my discovery. Now make a list of people you know. Don't qualify them. He's too short. She's too fat. She's too tall. He's too ugly. You can't do that. He's too successful. No. You go put a list down of everybody you know. Tim is the best I've ever seen. He's still making lists. Okay? Still putting his list together. Now put your upline in front of them in 48 hours. 1 to 3 people, 3 to 5 people, whatever it is. Now let's go back to the top. The reason I want your house in order, Robert, is for your belief level. I don't need to make a sale off of you. I need you to understand that you just told me if you die tomorrow, your family loses. I can't walk out of this house without fixing that for you, and I can't allow you to start hiring people, and then you pass away in a car wreck in a hurry going to meet one of them, you die, and your family loses their house, and your family's destitute, and then they say, you know what, Robert won't even fix. He didn't believe in this stuff. We can't have that happen, folks. So it's not about a sale. It's about your belief level. Because when Robert gets this sale and goes back in to see Ralph, and Ralph says, what do you mean get your house in order? And Robert slaps it down on the table and says, there's what I mean. You got one of them? No, let me show you how mine works. Bam, Ralph said, give me one you got. I like that. But folks, you got to be willing to say, you step, I step, you stop, I stop. If you won't get your why, I stop. Am I mad at you? No. Call me when you're serious. I got your signature. I got my signature. You stopped. I marked the date you stopped. You come back and say your opportunity don't work. I beg to differ. You don't work. You wouldn't give me your why. Are you humble yet? Are you ready to give me your why? Is that nail hurting bad enough? Are you ready to get off of it? Talk to me. I'm still here for you. Talk to me. But folks, I got to move on to the next person if you stop on these steps. The reason you're not committed to this is you only get one every now and then, and you don't want to run them off, so you allow them to skip 2 or 3 steps, and what you're doing is just putting the nail in the coffin. You might as well go on and bury them, because when they skip 2 steps, the one they hire is going to skip 4 steps, and the next thing you know, there's no steps. And then we got people just putting people in to be putting people in, and nobody's doing anything. And you didn't change anybody's future. You didn't change anybody's life. You didn't set up anybody for anything other than failure. So this is the Bible, folks. End of discussion. Robert, I probably covered that pretty good, but I'm still going to open it up to you.
Hey, buddy, you hit that one. There's nothing else to say on that.
Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you some questions, or you may even ask me some questions on this one, dude, because I'm going to extend this for 30 more days. But, folks, I truly believe I've done a poor job in getting people to understand this. And I really mean that. I apologize. I think it's totally my fault. So I'm going to take the responsibility for it, and I'm going to kind of try to figure this one out. But we have guidelines. Now, I am totally 1,000% okay with people going by the guidelines. All right? So that means you go out and do, I hire Robert. We just went through that with Robert, okay? And Robert comes in, does what he's supposed to do, gets his house in order, signs up, go gets his license, all that stuff. Now, that's going to take him 14, 21 days, 30 days if you're in California, whatever. Now, he's got a license. He's got to get trained. He doesn't know how to write the app. He doesn't know anything about sales. He doesn't know anything about insurance. So we got to take him out and train him, or we got to bring him into meetings during that and train him. Some people say, I can't come to meetings. I got to study for my test. So we got all that stuff going on. But he can take that route, and that's okay. It's our guidelines. That's the way we build in our company. And he can do 7,500 2 months in a row submitted premium and move to 65% or second level. That's 65%. You know, if that turns out to be Manhattan, it's still 5%, but it starts much lower and it doesn't go as high, and that's just their contracts. We apologize for that, but it is what it is. Every contract's not the same with every company, okay? But the products are different, and they're right in a special market that requires them not to pay as much money. It is what it is. So, bottom line, if I say that, and I say, it's okay, you can take 2 months and do 75-75. Maybe you're going to go write 8 term sales. Maybe you're going to write 3 ULs this month and 3 ULs next month, and you can move up, okay? Maybe your upline says, if you write 6 1 month and do 15, I'll move you up. Who knows? That's up to everybody out there that's running their business. We're okay with that. We just need the $15,000 in premium, If it's 1 month, 2 months, I'm okay with that, but the guidelines say 2 months. If your guy says or gal says 2 months, this takes 2 months, okay? Next month, you're at 65, you want to go to 70, you got to do 10,000, 10,000. So now that's 30 days to get in, get going, another 60 days, another 60 days, so it's 90, it's 120, 150 days. We're half a year in, and you're at 70% if you follow the guidelines. And so it's going to take you about a year to get to 80%, okay? Now, we got people that's here that's living proof. And I think, Robert, their mindset is, all right, it's taken me 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months to get my first promotion, and now you want me to hire somebody and let them get promoted in a week and cut me out. Well, I'm not going to cut you out. That's what you got to understand. That's where I can't explain this over the phone, and I've explained it to a lot of people in person, but you can't draw enough circles. It just looks like chaos. And we're not a multi-level marketing insurance company. That's not the purpose of this. That's not what it's designed to do. Because if I follow those guidelines, Robert, all the way up through 80%, when you get to 80%, you can actually do that on your own pen. That is a true statement. It's going to take you 6 to 8 months to get there, maybe a year, but you can get to 80. Now, from 80 to 85, I want to make sure everybody understands, that's the first step to an agency leader that qualifies for bonuses, gets in the participation of the buyout programs, the profit sharing, all of that. That's an agency leader. Keyword being agency and leader. Well, to be an agency, it means you got agents under you. To be a leader means somebody's following you. So that's not a position for onesies. So now you're required to do 50,000 in paid business 2 months in a row to get to 85. That could be done by a superstar like Robert, okay, but that's not going to be done by a lot of people. So all I'm saying to you is along the way, if you put a few people in, by the time you get to that 80, you will have positioned yourself to be running 50,000 a month and have a team and jump right on up to 85, 90, 95, right on up. And what I want the leaders on this phone to understand is, if you're at 80, 85 right now, and you think somebody's going to come in and go bam, 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 and get to 80, and you're stuck at 80 and you got your spread going, that will never happen, folks, because their production, along with your production, along with you going out doing the triple play, get you 3 more recruits, do what you ask them to do, so you go wide. Their production is going to move you from 80 to 85 to 90 to 95 to 100, and you will start jumping. So you're going to get on up to the 110, and boy, would it be great to have you at 110, have yourself about 10 85s, and you got a 25-point spread. That's crazy. Okay? That's where you're going to head with this. So all I'm saying is you can go the slow way, that's fine, or you can go get 3 people, teach them the 6 steps that we're teaching, and then your upline. Let me paint you a picture, Robert. And you didn't ask me a question yet, but I'm sure you will. I hire you today. This is for an existing agent. Let me go to new. I hire you brand new today. My job is to get the 6 steps completed on you, buddy. Okay? Now, I'm going to give you an option. I'm going to give you that first option that I just explained, and you say, well, that's kind of slow, but okay, that's your option. That's the guidelines. I can live by the guidelines. And I said, well, I got a better deal here. This is running for 30 days. So what I'll let you do is go out and put me in front of 5 or 6 people. Let me get 3 people in direct to you and get them qualified through their 6 steps. Now, here's what I'm going to do for you, Robert. I'm going to get these 3 people in, Larry, Curly, and Mo. Okay?
Okay.
And these 3 people are going to do everything you just did. You're going to watch me, and you're going to be as good as I am coming out of these 3 appointments. I'm going to give you every bit of the knowledge I got on how to overcome objections, how to fill out the sale, how to do the application, how to overcome everything these people, how to get them to fill out their deal, get their house in order, and get in class. Now, the second you come out of your class, you're already scheduled next week for your test. You won't start at 60, you'll start at 65, dude. You say, well, wait a minute. Did I make the sales here? Yes, you made the sales here. I had to make them because I'm licensed, you're not. So I'm going to get the commission. You're right. You're giving up 3 sales in commission, but you're going to get a 5-point bump. These people are going to class. You're already automatically overriding them by 5 points. But here's what I want you to do. They're in class studying. You get your test done next Friday, get your license. You drop down to the red, the green, and the yellow, and you get them each 3. You do what I just taught you to do. I just gave you the key to unlocking the success for your future. So you stop down there with Larry, and you go get him 3, and when he comes out, he's at 65. You say, well, he's at 65, I'm at 65. Get Larry, Curly, and Mo at 65. There's going to be $20,000 in premium right there on average. That's going to put you at 70, dude. So I'm telling you, first weekend, you get a 65. 2 weeks later, you're licensed. You go right 18, 20,000 in premium. We're moving you to 70. So you got 3 people at 65. Then we're going to teach them to drop down and do the same thing. Will everybody get 3? No, somebody might get 1 that gets 2. Somebody might get 3 to get 1. Somebody might get 5. Okay, it's not going to be perfect. Okay, you say, well, now it looks like a pyramid. Folks, it's one thing for sure. When you get to 80, even by our guidelines that say you have to recruit nobody to get there, you better start recruiting day 1. When you get there at 80, you're stuck because you're not going to go to 85 by yourself. That's the message. That one's hard to do. I've never sold anybody on you can go all the way to 110 by yourself. To write $350,000 in premium 2 months in a row, that's never been done in my company. Any one of them I've ever been in. I've not done it. Robert's not done it. Ralph didn't do it. That's a lot of business to write on your own personal pen. So for you to think you're going to move up to the top levels with no recruits, it won't happen. Now, I'm going to slow it down, Ralph. Robert, I apologize. I'm going to slow it down.
That's all right.
Bottom line, it's okay if you want to go back and do 75-75. You're not in the recruiting business. You're going to be happy to obtain an 80-point contract with us and write business and be happy for the rest of your life. Folks, that separates us from being a multi-level company. You have that choice. Multi-level, you don't, because you got to recruit because you only make a quarter off of everything you do. So we're not multi-level insurance. You can go by the guidelines. We're not mad at you. We don't kick you to the curb. It's okay. Slowly go get your promotions, methodically build your income based on your own pen. Man, I want 1,000 of you. I love you. If I could reach out and give you a big kiss, I would. Okay? But I'm also looking for some people who say, you know what? I don't need to wait 8 months. I need to move a little quicker. Can you help me get promoted? This is what's going to get you promoted. We're not going to pass you up with your people. That's not going to happen. So people that think, I struggle to get mine, and it's going to take me forever, and then somebody else comes along and get, that's I don't know how to say it other than that's a selfish mentality, because it's not about you, it's about your people. And when you start getting those people promoted, it's going to promote you. Everybody moves up. That's the deal. So anyway, tear me apart on that one, Robert.
You know, I think you know, Philip, is funny because I was kind of confused about it, and you know, honestly, just kind of putting myself in the shoes of different scenarios of people. I kind of thought that it was one of those things where somebody could pass them up. But the way you've explained it, it's not really them passing, them up. It's you building your business. You get promoted faster. You help them get promoted faster, which obviously that's going to make them excited. If they come on board and before they even write a sale, they've already, they can actually already promote themselves up at, 5 points or so on their contract. And, it reminded me of something that we've learned over the years that you can get rich on your own pen, and you'll get rich building a deep, organization, meaning going down in depth. But you said something a minute ago about the width, and you'll get wealthy in your width because there, and again, this is something else that really sets our company apart from a multi-level company. Is you're usually limited as to how wide or how deep you can go. With this, we know that we can go all the way from a 110 down to a 60. In most cases, but there's no limit, no cap on your width. And then when you start talking about some of the extra benefits and bonuses and things that happen as you really grow your organization, it makes more sense now, this contest in terms of being able to bring somebody on and then help them start their organization by helping them go wide, by helping them to go and get at least 3 people direct front line to them versus 3 people, because a lot of companies will say, oh, you got to get 1, and then you got to help that one get 1 and help that one get 1, and then you get promoted. But what you're saying is we can help that one person come on board, help them get their 3, 5, 7, however many it is, direct front line to them, and then teach them to do the same thing with that, 3, 5, or 7 people, is go wide and then continue replicating that, and the depth takes care of itself. Because the money, I tell you folks, you'll make a lot of money going deep, but you'll make more money than you ever could dream about going wide.
Absolutely.
It makes sense. It clicked for me just now.
Good deal, man. I'm glad. Hopefully it clicked for some more people. We're going to try it 30 more days. If not, we'll revamp. We'll come back. I mean, I'm just saying, I believe in it with everything in me, but we got to figure out a way to actually help people build their businesses, okay? We're going to track it. We've said that. I'm a little bit over 2, so we got contests. We've talked about these. We've showed you pictures. It's very simple to back into the numbers that you need, and we could talk all day about the contest. But folks, you can't even believe it till you get there. We're going to do next Thursday's call. Robert and Michelle's going to do the call, and then from that, they're going to hook us up in the Dominican. We're going to let Nanette and Jose talk. We're going to let Michelle talk. We're going to let Tim talk, and they're going to be talking from our condos, sitting on the beach with a butt in the sand, the feet in the water. I mean, you're going to see what you're missing. And folks, this trip is nothing like the insurance trip. Theirs is going to be 1,000 times better, I just tell you. Mine's okay. Theirs is gooder, okay, in my terminology. But I do want to get to this slide right here, and I do want Robert to sell this, because what I just covered with you is going to help you get started building your business. But what this is going to do is solidify your business, and it's going to literally explode your business. Robert started talking about it earlier, when he said he did what he had to do, took the $1,500, made the sacrifice, got to Atlanta, changed his life forever. Folks, that's going to happen for some of your people, but it's time to start selling it. It's June. We got, 30 days left, 45 days left. We got rooms to fill up. We got seats to fill up. We need people signing up. And, folks, you got to get committed and get in to get your people to follow you to get committed. And I would be working on this as hard as anything I could, but that's getting you 3 people, then lock them in, get them to the convention. So go ahead, Robert.
Philip, you're exactly right, and I'll be brief with this, folks. I think that this has been a really great call, but I will tell you, register. Make sure you get to the Live and Grow event, and more importantly, recruit to it and get your brand new people, even if they're not licensed, get them to this event. There will be opportunities to get trained, true enough, but the value is going to be in stories of success. It's going to be in the stories of perseverance, people overcoming situations, and people like Nanette. For instance, I don't know Nanette's full background, but I can tell you Nanette is flat out on fire right now. So is Michelle. I mean, I could go on and naming names of people that I've been speaking to and that I've gotten an opportunity to meet that are absolutely on fire in this business. And there's no way in the world, I don't care what their background was, there's no way in the world that you can convince me that their lives have not dramatically changed over the last several weeks and months because of what they're doing, working hard with this company. And it'll be those stories, and it may not be those two. It may be somebody else, a single mother, a single father, someone that lost a job, someone that might have been homeless, living out of a car. Who knows what you'll hear or who you'll hear from at Live and Grow. But there will be something that's going to resonate with you, but more importantly, there may be something that resonates with one of your recruits that lights a fire in them and gets that fire burning in their belly so that they go out and they explode and they change their lives and explode their business, which will explode your business. Folks, these events are not designed for anything other than to give you a breath of fresh air and to help light that fire or reignite a fire or stoke a fire and add some logs to it that's inside of you so that you can go from event to event. But so that, you know, when we say we go from event to event, you know, there's something in between those events, which is your everyday, which is your real life, which is your business day to day. And so these events are designed to give you the tools mentally and physically necessary for you guys to blow up. And I can tell you for $99.95, you know, that's a small price for an event, knowing what I know that is in store for everybody. And I can tell you, once we sacrificed to go to the first one, we sacrificed further going forward. And from every event that we went to thereon, we always purchased additional tickets for people, not for people that were already in our organization either that we knew. We didn't buy tickets for Jim or Betty to make sure that they got there. We purchased tickets that didn't even have a name yet. They weren't even recruited yet, to force ourselves to go out and find fresh blood, to go out and find somebody new that needed to be there as badly as we did the first time. So, you know, I can't stress enough, yes, carriers will be there. Yes, I mean, you'll have an opportunity, folks, to rub elbows with Philip Hudgens and you know, the other owners of the company, and you know, the leaders in the company, which I can tell you, you know, if you've ever met Philip, and I think probably everybody on this call has had an opportunity to encounter Philip, you're not going to find anyone that has experienced a level of success that Philip has that is as down to earth as he is, and that would give you the shirt off of his back, that would let you come into his home and sleep in his bed and eat off of his table. Folks, you know, that in and of itself blows people's minds when they meet him and get a chance to wrap their minds around who he really is and the fact that he's as down to earth and as accessible as he is. So, you know, I can't stress enough what it did for us, folks. The first time we went, it created a multi-million-dollar income and a multi-million-dollar organization for Michelle and I. This event is absolutely going to do the same for, I know, at least one person, if not several people. So if you haven't registered, make sure you register for it. Make sure that, and again, you know, if you want to go big, if you really are looking to make some dramatic changes in your life and your lifestyle, purchase additional tickets and go recruit to them. Trust me, you cannot fail if you do that. Back over to you, Philip.
Robert, I'm going to close it out with this, buddy, and I appreciate all the kind words you said about me, and right back at you, buddy. It's identical. We cut from the same mold, brothers from another mother, as you know. But bottom line, you got it, brother. Bottom line, here's what I'm going to do, folks, and he just gave me this idea, so y'all can thank Robert for this when you see him, okay? Between now and Sunday night's call, okay, we're going to monitor the amount of people that sign up and register, and for every 10 that sign up, we're going to have a drawing and pull out one, and it's going to be free. So we're going to give one away for every 10. Now, what that simply means is if you go purchase 5 of the first 10, like he's talking about, and then fill them up, you got a chance of purchasing 4 and getting yours for free. And then when you get, now he's not giving these to people. He's signing people up and saying, I already paid it. He's getting his $99 back. Am I right, Robert?
Absolutely.
You don't have to give them away. So, folks, you work hard to sell the 5 that you bought, you get one free. If you happen to be the drawer, okay, if we draw you out and you get one free, yours is free. You sell the other 4, you went to the convention free, or 3 or 2 or whatever. Now, one winner per 10. So if we get 50 people signed up between now and the Sunday night, we'll give away 5. If we get 20 people, we'll give away 2. We'll have a drawing. We'll come back on because it's by the end of the call Sunday night. We'll run it on through while people are on, let them sign up. So as of Monday morning, we can make the announcement Monday of what's going on. I tell you what I'll do. I'll stretch it out to next Thursday. I'll stretch it out to next Thursday, Robert. From today, we will make the announcement next Thursday on the call as how many people we registered, and we'll have the winners already figured out because it's going to have to be into us Thursday by, let's say, 9 a.m. Thursday morning airtime.
Well, that's huge. That is a huge opportunity right there, folks. You've got a week to earn and you know, hey, I'm going to put it out there since you didn't put a cap on it, folks. You just got an opportunity to earn really an unlimited amount of free tickets. You know, for every 10, he didn't say you could only win one per household. He said for every 10, we're going to draw out a name. So that means the same name can get drawn out 3, 4, 5 times. So if it was me, I would invest, and really use this opportunity to build your business. Get some shirts and set yourself apart inside that convention so everybody knows the people in the red shirts are Michelle's team and they're on fire or something. You know, make some noise with it and have some fun. That's huge, Philip. You know, on behalf of everybody on the call, I'm going to thank you. That's for sure.
You got it, bud. Well, thank you for being on the call and actually doing the call, man. I would say assist, but you didn't assist. You run the call, man. I appreciate you. Love you like a brother. Give Michelle a big hug for me. And folks, have a great week. Look forward to speaking with you from the Dominican next week. Robert will be hosting the call, taking care of the call. And God bless. Have a great week. And look forward to seeing you somewhere soon.
Thanks, partner. Bye-bye.
All right, buddy. Bye-bye.